Okay. So I can see most of you have switched off your videos, limiting opportunity to interact with you. Thank you. Thank you, Arshad Prabhu. Thank you, Santosh Prabhuji. Thank you, Padmaja Mataji. Hare Krishna. Anyone else would like to give darshan? Okay, my first question to all of you. Why do we perform Kirtan and Mangalacharan in the beginning? What is the need? Why can't we jump into reading Bhagavad Gita? Yes, Rajesh Prabhu.
This is to calm our mind and stay focused
Very
on
good.
Krishna.
Yes, thank you. Anyone else?
To pay obeisance to all the gurus.
Very good. So pay obeisances to Guru Parampara and get their blessings. Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Because God, Shri Krishna Bhagwan reveals us to us. He can't be achieved by us. So we can request him so that he can reveal this knowledge to us.
Okay, we beg Krishna to reveal himself. Thank you. Dr. Akshi Mataji. Anyone else? Any last comment before we proceed? Okay, so you all are right, to get blessings of Guru Parampara so that we get unadulterated knowledge, to get blessings of Krishna, right? So he's pleased and reveals himself. And also somebody said to calm our mind. Spiritual knowledge can be only understood when one is situated in the mode of goodness, not in the mode of ignorance or passion. We cannot understand spiritual knowledge. So everybody comes from different backgrounds. Somebody is coming from office, somebody is coming from market, different modes, and Tamoguna, Rajaguna. So we have to situate ourselves in the mode of Sattva-guna before we start reading Bhagavad Gita, so that we can understand what we want to study. So my humble request is everybody, class does not start from when we start reading Bhagavad Gita. Class starts from the moment we sing Kirtan and say Hare Krishna. That is the beginning of class. So one should be active right from the beginning and participate, in this process of Kirtana, so that, we raise our consciousness, we elevate our consciousness to Sattva-guna, so that we are eligible, we are qualified to understand Bhagavad Gita. Okay. So I have been given service of trying to explain summary of chapter 5. Last time we did summary of chapter 4. So chapter 2, the focus of chapter 2 is to reveal our identity. Okay. Pehchan. हमारी असली पहचान क्या है? What is our real identity? Krishna talks about difference between body and soul and establishes this fact that we are not this body but a spiritual soul. That is Sankhya Yoga, or larger focus of chapter 2. Chapter 3 talks about in that position of being a soul, what is our duty? Okay. Nishkam Karma Yoga. In the position of a soul. Nishkam Karma Yoga means without attachment to the results. Why? Because results belong to Krishna, not to us. Okay, so that is our duty. Like mother, while serving a child, does not expect anything in return. Correct? She feeds the child as a matter of duty. Similarly, soul is supposed to serve Krishna as a matter of duty, because we are being fed every moment by Krishna. And we survive every moment just due to the mercy of Krishna, by breathing, by drinking, by eating, right? So, like it is child's duty to reciprocate by serving mother, it is a duty of all the souls, like all of us, to reciprocate by serving Krishna. Right? So third chapter largely talks about our duty of Karma Yoga. And fourth chapter talks about with what knowledge we should perform the duty. Transcendental knowledge. So one has to be situated in certain knowledge to perform the duty effectively. The focus of our fourth chapter was knowledge. And we talked about different sacrifices through which we can acquire knowledge, or by approaching a spiritual master. Correct? The quickest method to acquire transcendental knowledge. Now, fifth chapter is the culmination point of second, third, and fourth chapter. Second is pehchan or identity. Third is duty or kartavya. And fourth is gyan, knowledge. And fifth is parinam, or the result. And what is the result? Anyone? What is the focus area of fifth chapter? What is the conclusion of the chapter?
Peace.
Very good. And how does one attain peace? While performing Nishkam Yoga and situated in transcendental knowledge. So that is the focus area of fifth chapter. And what is the last verse of fifth chapter? Anyone?
I'll say, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Tasmadajnana sambhutam. Hare Krishna. Tasmadajnana sambhutam. Rutsam jnanasinatmanaha chitvainam samsayam yogam atistoptista bharata.
Very nice. I'm saying last verse of fifth chapter.
Last bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram sakridam sarvabhutanam jnatva shrantim ruchasi.
Shantim prachati. Who attains peace? Krishna talks about who is qualified to attain peace in this material world. Bhoktaram. Bhoktaram means Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, right? And as a soul, we are supposed to be serving Krishna, right? Focus area of second chapter. What is our identity as a soul? And third chapter, what is our duty? So if he is Bhoktaram, if he is an enjoyer, we are supposed to be providing means for enjoyment for him, right? Or, our duty is to serve Krishna. Yakatapasam sarvalok maheshwaram. He is the supreme proprietor, right? If he is the supreme proprietor and we are servants, our duty is to serve Krishna, right? In that knowledge, if we perform our duty, then Krishna being the best friend, suhurdam sarvabhutanam, he is supreme enjoyer. He shares that joy with all the souls who serve Krishna without any expectation. And how do we get enjoyment? Krishna shares all what he enjoys, right? And he is supremely enjoying. So he shares that joy with us, not material, momentarily limited joy. That's why, spiritual joy is compared to an ocean and material joy is compared to a drop of ocean. Correct? The joy we get from each other, from tiny, tiny little souls, is very limited. But Krishna being the ocean, when he shares the joy with us, being the best friend, that joy is unlimited, right? So our joy is not in enjoying, but being enjoyed by Krishna. Okay, let me repeat. Our actual joy is not trying to enjoy independently, but being enjoyed by Krishna. That delivers real joy to all of us, all the souls. Okay. So this is the focus area of fifth chapter. So I'll again go back to fourth chapter we discussed in the previous class, previous session. I would like to know what will you remember? What all was discussed in fourth chapter? Quickly. Next 2 minutes. Maybe other can also participate.
What is
So,
lust and love we learnt in the last chapter, and
very
how to overcome that lust by plugging in Krishna in everything.
wonderful. Thank you very much, Shantaji. Anyone else? So what is lust and what is love quickly?
Anything you do for sense gratification, that is lust. Anything we do for Krishna, that is love.
Very good. Okay, what else we discussed in fourth chapter? Others, Harshad Prabhu, Ramya Mataji,
We also
Rajesh
talked
Prabhu.
about, Prabhuji,
Yes.
we also talked about the lineage of the transcendental knowledge, how it passed on from the sun god, and why it was passed on in that particular succession.
Very nice. So Krishna started with the glory of Bhagavad Gita by telling us that who is the first student of Bhagavad Gita? Sun God himself is the first student of Bhagavad Gita. So all the students of, or you can say, who is your alumni? If I ask you, then you can say Sun God. Surya Dev is my alumni. Alumnus. He studied from the same university. Isn't it? So it's a matter of pride, no? Right? So, all IIMs or other institutes, they feel proud when one of their, passed out graduate, takes over a very high position corporate world. Then they'll send a poster, they'll send news that he was promoted to this position. They feel proud. Similarly, we can feel proud that, Sun God also graduated from the same university, from where we are also studying Bhagavad Gita, Krishna's university. Okay, so he talked about glory of Bhagavad Gita. He talked about how to receive this knowledge through a disciplic succession, through parampara. Why it is important to receive knowledge through parampara? Anyone?
Sir,
Yes.
Guru will remove the wall of false ego. He will not come in between us and Krishna, but he helps us to remove the false ego.
Okay.
It's
So
this-
my question is why it is important to receive knowledge from disciplic succession.
It's the pure and original.
Correct. It maintains the originality of the intention. Parampara
Without
system.
any personal
The transformation.
Yes. Thank you very much. Okay, so Bhagavad Gita, then Parampara, what else? Lust, love, what else? Lust, love is in third chapter. Fourth chapter I'm talking about.
And how to attain, I think.
Shamukh
I
Prabhuji, please give chance to others.
Yeah.
I know you're very eager to answer, but Ashish Nagar, sorry, आपका नाम क्या है माता जी? I can see Ashish Nagar on your screen.
It's Nikita. So we also studied about action and inaction and inaction and action. So, vikarma, karma, and karma.
Very good. We studied about different types of karmas. Thank you. Anyone else?
The divine nature of Krishna appearance about the birth and death cycle.
Yeah. Okay. He is not an ordinary person. Then towards the end, Krishna compared this knowledge with four things, four objects. Do you remember?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes.
One was boat,
Yes.
one was sword, with
Yes.
which the doubts could be killed. And sorry, I'm not able to recollect.
Fire, the way
Fire
it
and
burns.
fruit.
Yeah, fire, correct. Yeah,
And fruit.
and fruit, correct.
Very good. So it was boat, it was fire, fruit, and sword.
What?
Very nice. So he glorified this knowledge by comparing to these four objects. Wonderful. Thank you very much. So that was summary of fourth chapter. And now let's jump into fifth chapter. Okay. The name of fifth chapter is Karma Yoga, Action in Krishna Consciousness. So can anyone define what is karma?
Karma can be your own actions, your reactions to your actions, as well as inactions also. It can be your pious work also. So this is what is all karma.
Very good. So it can be action, It can be inaction. It can even be the reaction, as Prabhuji mentioned. जैसे कभी किसी को दुख मिलता है तो बोलते हैं उसके कर्म है. Dukh is actually a reaction, but we call that also as karma. उसके कर्म है. In 4th chapter, 41 number verse, Krishna said, Yog Sanyast Karmanam. Yoga Sanyast means one who has renounced, and Karmanam. Krishna meant fruits of action. But Arjuna understood action.
Renunciation of action.
Yes. Yoga Sanyast Karmanam. So he said, renounce the action. And immediately after this 41, he said 42. What did he say? He said, Yogam Atishtha Uttishta Bharata. Stand up and fight. So Arjuna was wondering, what is Krishna trying to say? In 41, he is saying, renounce the action. Means just sit. Don't do anything. And then he's saying, stand up and fight. So Arjuna is confused once again. Every chapter ends with the confusion, and the next chapter starts with a query from Arjuna. So Arjuna is asking in the very first of 5th chapter, he is saying, Sannyasam karmana Krishna pun yogam cha sanshasi. Sanshasi means I have a doubt. Yashreya eteyor ekam tanmi bhuti sunishchitam. He is saying, first of all, Krishna, you asked me to renounce work. Sannyasta karmanam, 41 number verse. And then you said, work with devotion, stand up and fight, remembering me. Can you please clarify what exactly you want? Now, will you kindly tell me definitely which of these two is beneficial? He had the same query in the previous chapter also. But his confusion is helping all of us to clarify the subject matter. Correct? So Arjuna's confusion. So similarly, when one of you asks a question, it is beneficial to 3 people. Who are 3 people who get benefit? The one who asks the question, second who answers the question, and third who hears this dialogue. Right? So any type of query is glorious. And the best query is Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Who is Lord? Who are we? And what is our relationship? That defines the beginning of human life. You must have studied this, right? The point I'm making here is one should ask questions. It's a reflection of one's attentive hearing. And who will ask questions? Who has heard it very, very attentively, who has contemplated on what he heard, and hence has a query. So Arjuna also has a query. Please clarify. But he's using a very nice word here, which he has used earlier also. Yes, Shreya. Shreya. Do you remember which verse he uses word Shreya? Other than you please stay quiet for some time. I'm sorry. Others don't get a chance to speak. I know you know most of the answers. Yes. Anyone else?
2.7 and 3.1.
2.7 and 3.1. Wonderful. Thank you very much, Madhavi Mataji.
It's 2.7 and 3.2, I guess.
3.2, yeah. So Arjuna is not compromising with what he wants. He wants the best. That is also something you can learn from Arjuna. Don't settle for something suboptimum. This life is very precious. Human life is very, very precious. Right? So deliver or achieve something which is precious. Right? Arjuna again and again say, Krishna, tell me something which is ultimately good for me. I don't want any patchwork. I want ultimate solution. What's the difference between Shreyas and Prayas? Anyone? Prayas and Shreyas?
Shreyas is long term and praise is temporary, short term.
Very good. So one who is long-term goal-oriented, he is ready to sacrifice his short-term pleasures. Let me just, tell you a small story to illustrate this point. There was one businessman who was traveling in a samudri jahaj. Prabhupada gate Jalduta mein. One of those, but it was a passenger one. So while in the ocean, the Titanic sunk in the ocean. Everybody died except this person, this businessman. So he swam to the nearest island and survived. He was the only one who survived. So when he entered this island and walked a little bit, he was feeling very hungry. He walked a little bit, he saw many, these tribals coming towards him, playing drums and, mridangas and all types of musical instruments. And they also carrying a palanquin and, walking towards him. So he looked behind, maybe they're going to receive somebody else behind me, but there was nobody behind. Then he thought they're coming to me only. They came, they made him sit in the palanquin and got him back. And, in their whatever small village, tribal village, they made him sit on a very big throne and started treating him like a king. But he was not able to find out what exactly was happening. But he was enjoying, so he continued being treated like a king. So a couple of years he enjoyed the life of a king. After 2 years, he developed this desire to know, why are they treating me like a king? So he asked his minister, tribal minister, I am keen to find out, why are you doing all of this? What is so special about me? I have not done anything. I just survived and came, rescued my life by coming to this island, and you started treating me like a king. The minister said, sir, you are very intelligent. This is the first time somebody asked this question. So he said, tell me what is the logic behind all of this, what you're doing? So he explained that anyone who comes like this, we make him king of our village. But he is a king only for 5 years. After 5 years, we transfer him, we remove his clothes, we take away everything from him, and we send him naked to the nearby island, which is full of animals. So he got scared. Then he said, still I have 3 years to do something. So he told his minister, if I give some instruction, will you follow? He said, yes, you are our king. So whatever instruction you give, will follow. So he told that mantri, send half of the people to that nearby island. Ask them to start, some farming there, build some houses, make a palace. So minister followed instructions, he was a king. And for 2-3 years, Raja, this king, worked hard to develop the nearby island where he was supposed to be sent after 5 years. And after 5 years, when he was sent, that island was all developed. And after that, he continued his, life as a king for the rest of his life. The point I'm making, he sacrificed 2-3 years of his life or 2-3 years of pleasure for a long-term sustained pleasure when you are sent to the nearby island. So what was the difference between this king and many kings who came earlier? This king wanted shreyas, not prayers. Correct? He wanted long-term. So he was ready to sacrifice short-term temporary pleasures for some long-term benefit. Similarly, Arjuna also doesn't want to settle for short-term pleasures. He is looking for something which is long-term and sustainable. So my question is, give me some examples of shreyas, which you know.
I think Bhagirath has done the penance for bringing
Real life examples. Real life examples.
Maybe a student studying hard to set his career.
Very good. Student studying hard to set his career and not playing around and for short-term pleasure. Very good.
We do chanting every day in the morning.
There is also shreyas. Very nice. So material life versus spiritual life. Let's focus on this. Very important. Which is shreyas, which is prayers?
Shreyas is spiritual.
And material life is
Prayers.
prayers. So where should we spend more energy? Material life, spiritual life?
Spiritual.
Yes. Why? It gives long-term benefit. In Srimad Bhagavatam, there's a very nice verse. Let me see if I can share with all of you. Rishabh Dev, he is an incarnation of Krishna only. He is instructing his 100 sons. And the very first instruction he gives, you can see in front of you. So he is giving instructions to his 100 sons. So, quite a few lessons we can learn from this verse. One, what kind of instruction we as parents should give to our children? Second, what should be the focus of our life? What is shreyas? And what is prayers also is mentioned in this verse. 100 sons, the eldest son was Bharat. इसके नाम पे भारत देश का नाम पड़ा. नायम देहो देह भाजाम लोके कष्टान कामान नरहते विद्भुजाम ये तपो दिव्यम पुत्रकायेन सत्वम शुद्ये यस्मात् ब्रह्म सोख्यम tu anantam. So here he is revealing the secret of Sokhyam tu Anantam, unlimited bliss, unlimited joy. He is telling his sons, Rishabh Uvacha, Rishabh said, Nayam Deho Debhajam Naloke. All those embodied souls, especially amongst them Narloke, who have human form of life, who have human body. Kashtan, Kaman, Arhate, Vidbhujam. Kashtan means they should not work hard to fulfill temporary material desires. Kashtan, Kaman, Arhate, Vidbhujam. He is saying such propensity of fulfilling or struggling for material desires is found even in stool-eating, entities. Like hog. Give you an example. Vidbhujam is one who is eating stool eaters. So even they work hard for material happiness. So, human form of life is not to be wasted like stool eaters for sense enjoyment. Then where should we dovetail our energy, time? Tapo divyam putraka yena sattvam. Tapo divyam in spiritual austerity. What kind of hard work we should do in cultivating our spiritual life, not in material life. Why? Working hard in material life does not yield anything because anyway your result is fixed. But working hard in spiritual life delivers permanent benefit. And what is the result of tapodivyam? Spiritual austerity? Shuddhyet yashman. It purifies our consciousness. And in purified consciousness, one can experience unlimited bliss. Sokhyam tu anantam. Right? So, from praise or Shreyas point of view, praise is sense enjoyment, and Shreyas is, all kinds of spiritual activities we perform, from chanting to eating prasadam to reading Bhagavatam, hearing Bhagavatam, even taking association of devotees. That is Shreyas, right? So Arjuna, with the same attitude, again and again emphasizing that I don't want anything which is short-term sense enjoyment. I want something which is long-term beneficial. Okay. So this is Shreyas and prayers for you. And then in 5.2, when Arjuna asked this question, Krishna, please explain, you want me to renounce or you want me to work? Krishna said, the personality of Godhead replied, the renunciation of work and work and devotion are both good for liberation. It basically means Krishna is saying working with devotion is as good as sannyas. No difference. Both will yield this result of liberation. But of the two, work in devotional service is better than renunciation of work. Now, this statement is not absolute, remember. Working in devotion is better than renunciation of work. This is for us. People situated in our position, Krishna is advising, don't renounce. You're not qualified to renounce. You continue whatever you're doing, but work in the spirit of devotion, which means don't renounce from karma or don't take sannyas from karma. Take sannyas into karma. With the spirit of sannyas, you perform activity. With the spirit of sannyas means renouncing the karma phala, not the karma. Perform your duties because your consciousness is still not pure, so you cannot renounce. Continue to perform duty according to your modes, your guna, but with the spirit of sannyas. Take sannyas into karma, not sannyas from karma. Into karma means renounce the karma phala, not the karma. You will get the same result. So Krishna is revealing here, another definition of sannyas. Sannyasi doesn't mean only somebody who's wearing saffron. A devotee wearing pant shirt, suit, can also be a sannyasi. Prabhupada said, our grahastha devotees who are chanting 16 rounds daily and following 4 regular principles are as good as sannyasis. Okay, so here Krishna is advising Arjuna to work with the spirit of sannyasa and don't, take sannyas from karma. Right? Basically, as a matter of duty. As a matter of, and we took some examples some time back, like, mother is feeding a child as a matter of duty. Soldier is fighting on the battlefield as a matter of duty. He is not ready to give up his life just for a few thousand rupees. A soldier doesn't go to battlefield to earn some 20, 30,000 rupees. No, he goes with the spirit of duty. Mera Bharat Mahan. So I can give up my life for this great country called India, Bharat Varsh. He goes with that spirit as a matter of duty and ready to give his life. Right? So that is not for a few thousand rupees. Similarly, Prabhupada used to give an example of cashier. Cashier is counting billions of dollars every day, while working the bank, but completely detached. He doesn't think this money is mine. Okay, so with that spirit, Krishna is advising us. So we don't have to renounce whatever we have. We don't have to renounce our house, our car, or all the opulence we have, isn't it? There was this book, Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. So, have you heard about this book?
Robin Sharma.
Yeah, so this is material understanding of sannyas. Means a monk has to, if he wants to become a monk, he has to sell his Ferrari. Means he has to renounce his opulence. Correct? So only after selling his car, Mercedes or Ferrari, he can become sannyasi. So that is not the definition of, that is not the only definition of sannyas. There's one type of vairagya called as yukta vairagya, which means, utility is a principle, means whatever we have, this body, this house, this car, children, everything to be used in the service of Krishna. This is called yukta vairagya. So we don't throw away money thinking this is Maya. We don't throw away or renounce big house thinking this is Maya. We don't throw away big car thinking this is Maya. No. Dovetail whatever we have in the service, and then one becomes sannyasi. This is called yukta vairagya. Okay. It is better than a person who renounces everything, goes to Vrindavan, and then mentally he is contemplating on sense objects. तो बाहर से तो saffron और अंदर से, you can imagine, he is thinking about various objects of sense gratification. And Krishna called such a person as what? In the previous chapters, if you remember, mithyachari, pretender. So we don't have to become pretender and renounce, everything and run away from our duties. We have to stay where we are, perform all your duties of being a husband, wife, father, mother, but dovetailing everything with Krishna. So that makes every act an act of vairagya or act of sacrifice. Okay, make sense? And then Arjuna asked, Krishna, you're asking me to renounce the results or become detached, but everything in this material world is so alluring. How do I become detached? Isn't it? Everything is so wonderful, beautiful, so many big malls around, right? So many wonderful gardens, cinema halls, beautiful women, beautiful men. How do I become detached? How do I stay protected from all of this? And then Krishna gives example of lotus flower in verse number 10. Very beautiful verse. Brahmani adhaya karmani sangam tyaktva karotiya lipatena sapapena padma patram ivambhasha. One who performs his duty without attachment, surrendering the results unto the Supreme Lord, is unaffected by sinful action, as a lotus flower or lotus leaf is untouched by water. Right? So a lotus leaf is in the midst of mud all around. Like Krishna is in a position in the battlefield where you see so many murders, killings, so much of blood, flowing here and there. It's all muddy situation, dirty, contaminated situation. And Krishna is teaching Arjuna how to remain protected from this mess around you. So it doesn't matter what kind of situation we are in materially. It could be very messy. Could be a messy family, messy house, could be messy profession in which you're working, messy boss, messy subordinates, right? How still we remain protected from this external environment is what Krishna is teaching Arjuna by trying to become a lotus flower. So he is telling us that one can still remain protected from material influence while being in the material environment by remembering this example of lotus flower. Then Arjuna asks, but still, Krishna, I still feel attached because I am doing all the things. I am taking a, boy, I am, pulling the arrow and I am murdering somebody. Why will I not feel attached to the result? It is natural, no? आप सुबह उठते हैं, सुबह ऑफिस जाते हैं, लैपटॉप खोलते हैं, दिन भर काम करते हैं, फिर तनख्वाह मिलती है और आप कहते हो तनख्वाह मेरी नहीं है. Isn't it? How is this possible? I spent 2 hours for cooking. I made, idli sambar. I made so many things. I brought ration from the market. My husband brought gas. So we put together, cooked some rice and so many much. You are saying now this is not yours. How do I understand this? And then Krishna explains this wonderful concept of who is actual doer. Are you the doer? By the face, it looks like that I am doing everything. But Krishna is revealing a wonderful, science here. Who is the actual doer and why we get attached to the result and how we can avoid getting attached to the result. Krishna explains, that there are 3 entities who actually can be called as doer. The soul, super soul, and material nature. Atma, Paramatma, and Prakriti. Because all 3 have a role in any action getting performed. Let's try to understand what is the individual role in finally accomplishing a work. It will be explained in detail in chapter 13 and maybe 17, 18. But he's touching upon the subject in this. And it's very important how to develop detachment from result by understanding this concept. What is my role in accomplishing any work I do? Let me give one example. Suppose a child demands, Papa, I need chocolate. And father takes out 10 rupee note, gives this 10 rupee note to his servant and tell servant, go with this child and buy him 1 chocolate. ठीक है जी, जो भी यहाँ पेरेंट्स उनके साथ होता होगा अक्सर ऐसा. And servant goes with the child to the market, buys him a chocolate. Child comes back. Father asks him, "Beta, give me some chocolate." He says, "No, मेरा है, मैं लाया, मैं खाऊंगा." Yes or no? Now tell me, who is the doer? How he got chocolate?
From father.
Father
So-
and the servant.
So let's see. This child is like a soul who desired to have a chocolate. Correct? Father is like super soul who sanctioned and gave ₹10. And the servant is like material nature who facilitated fulfillment of the desire. Correct? And this bugger child, he's claiming that I have done it, I bought it, I brought it, I am the owner of this chocolate, I only should enjoy it. Is it justified? His role was only to express desire, nothing beyond that. Similarly, soul, being a spirit soul, can only desire, cannot do anything, cannot perform any action, can only desire. Soul desires, super soul sanctions, and material nature helps the soul to fulfill the desire. So technically, all three are the doers, and the ultimate doer is Krishna or the super soul who sanctions. If Papa 10 ka note nahi nikal ke dete, so what servant could have done? Nothing. What child could have done? Nothing. So the only ultimate doer is Krishna, but this child is thinking, I am the doer. Now, because I am the doer, I am the proprietor. Because I am the proprietor, I am the enjoyer. This is where the problem lies. That's how we get attached to the result of our karma. And Krishna is telling us, Baba, you are not only doer. You got this car because of the mercy of Krishna. You got this house because of the mercy of Krishna. You're getting salary every month because of the mercy of Krishna. Don't claim all of this to be yours. Like this child. Don't be a child. Don't show a childish behavior. And by claiming everything as yours. This is Krishna's, so use it for Krishna's service. The moment you claim this is mine, you're entangled. The moment you use it for Krishna's service, you're liberated. As simple as that. So when you understand this result belongs to Krishna, this is to be used in the service of Krishna, you become detached automatically from this result. When this cashier knows this money belongs to somebody else, not me, he becomes detached. Correct? Are you attached to the property of your neighbor? Tell me. No. You become attached to only your property. You are attached to your car, not to your neighbor's car. Why? Because you think it does not belong to me. And hence you're not attached. You're attached to your son, not neighbor's son. Why? You think this is my son. That's why I'm attached. If you think this is neighbor's son, no attachment. अपने बच्चे को छोटी चोट भी लग जाए दुख होता है. Why? Out of attachment. पड़ोसी का बच्चा खड्डे में गिर जाए कुछ नहीं होता है. Why? Detachment. Right? So attachment, detachment is a function of what do you think? You think this is mine or somebody else's. So this understanding that everything we get is due to the blessing of Krishna means it belongs to Krishna, not to me. And then that mindset develops detachment. Correct? Then propensity of enjoying the result is minimized. Correct? So one is doership, second is proprietorship, third is enjoying propensity. Kartutva bhav, swamitva bhav, and then bhogatritva bhav. Doership mentality comes because of wrong conception. And because of doership, one thinks I am the owner. And because of ownership, one thinks I am the only enjoyer. Bhogatritva. Right? So Krishna reveals this understanding that who is the actual doer. So there's no need to be attached to the result of our karmas. Right? Our role in what we have is only like a child in expressing our desire. Everything else is done by Krishna and Krishna's energy, material nature. So our role in what we have is very, very limited. So we cannot claim ourselves to be the proprietor or the enjoyer of what we have. Make sense? Yeah. This is a wonderful concept Krishna explained in terms of who is the actual doer. You heard about this person known as Muhammad Ali. Suna hai aapne? He was a great wrestler, no? Or boxer, I don't know. Boxer. And he once, when he was in the peak of his glory, he claimed that he is the greatest person. So because he thought he's a doer. He thought he's a doer and he claimed that he's the greatest. And when he became old, his brain was damaged. He was suffering with Parkinson. He couldn't lift even a cup of tea, coffee. When he was invited to inaugurate some function, he couldn't even lift Caesar. And then he realized he was not greatest, he was greatest fool. By thinking that, just because of me, my individual effort, I am what I am. Prakate kriyamanani guna karmani sarvasha ahankar vimudatma karta ahimiti mannete. Karta aham means I am the doer. Iti mannete manta hai kaun? Ahankar vimudatma, foolish person. A fool only can think that I am the doer and hence this belongs to me. And hence I am the enjoyer. No, prakate kriya manani, it is being done through the material energy of Krishna. After Krishna is sanctioned, given 10 rupee note, like the father gave. Okay. So this is a wonderful concept. If you meditate on this deeply, naturally we'll develop attachment to the results of our karma and we can actually perform Nishkam Karma Yoga. Okay. Then Arjuna is saying, okay, theek hai, Baba. Krishna, you're saying get detached from the result. I get detached from the result, but I still need enjoyment now. You're saying, okay, don't think this is yours. I don't think this is mine, but I still need enjoyment. Every living entity by nature is looking for enjoyment. Yes or no? You're working so hard for what? To get some happiness, some joy. Ananda bhayo bhyasat. By nature, every living entity needs some joy, some happiness. If you search on net, books on happiness, you get thousands of books written by different authors, how to be happy. Isn't it? But tell me, who can tell us how to be happy? Really happy? Tell me. Who will have the formula to tell us how to be happy in this material world?
Bhagavan.
Yes, why?
Because everything belongs to him.
He created us, he created material world, he created experience of joy, experience of enjoying. So he is the source of everything. So he is best placed to tell us how to be blissful in this world. But we keep trying so many things. By jumping into water, by flying in the air, or buying this, buying that. We think this will give me happiness, this will give me happiness. It doesn't. So if one wants to be happy, he has to approach, the manufacturer of this material world to know the formula how to be happy in this material world. And only manufacturer knows about the product, isn't it? He only can reveal this formula. So then Arjuna is saying, how will I become happy? Then Krishna is telling, by searching for happiness within, not without. It doesn't lie outside, it lies inside. It lies inside. Journey of self-discovery. So if one is happy inside, he will be happy outside. If one is peaceful inside, he will be peaceful outside. Then Arjuna is saying, if I start my journey within, how will I interact with the external world? I am contemplating everything deep within. but I have to deal with external world also. What vision should I carry outside? Then Krishna talks about this verse, wonderful verse. This is verse number 18. Vidya vinay sampanne brahmane gavihastani shuni chev shapake cha pandita samarshana. What should be our vision to look at things outside? We should see that every living entity is a soul and that everybody has super soul in him. Sab hai Atma, sab mein hai Paramatma. This formula. So whether you look at Brahmana or a dog, dono hai Atma, dono mein hai Paramatma. Correct? Just because he's a dog, we can't throw a stone on the dog. Have you seen people throwing stones on the dogs? Why? Because they see only the body of the dog. They don't see soul inside the dog. They don't see super soul inside the dog. This is called Dehatma Buddhi. They don't mind throwing stone on the dog. Krishna is saying, no, this way you can be peaceful in this world. You can remain peaceful by having a Sama Darshana. Sama Darshana means you should be able to see all of them as souls, and you should be able to see super souls in all of them. So that is the technique to develop vision to see externally, to remain peaceful. Right? Then you can see everybody connected with Krishna, whether dog or Brahman. Both have relationship with. Like a father has, 4 sons. One is very intelligent, one is duffer. But that he's a duffer doesn't make him eligible to get punishment, isn't it? He's still the son of this father. Technically, in our state laws, if you hit and harm a dog, you're not punished. But if you hit and harm a person, human being, you're punished. Correct? So that is the understanding of material understanding of our law, because they treat Brahmana as Brahmana and dog as some animal. If you hurt a dog, you'll not be sent behind the jail. If you hurt some person with human body, you'll be sent behind jail. Correct? But in Krishna's law books, that is not the case. Why? With Krishna, everybody is a soul. With a dog or Brahmana. If you kill a Brahmana or you kill a dog, both have the same punishment in Krishna's law books. Why? For him, one may be intelligent son, one may be duffer son, but son is a son. Intelligent son cannot come and tell father, Papa, he is duffer. Can I kill him and eat? What will father say? Okay, Tika. He'll not say, no. Yes, beta. Because he's duffer, you can kill him and eat his, Right? So in Krishna's eyes, dog or Brahmana, both are his children, both are his sons, right? One is intelligent, one is maybe not very intelligent. Doesn't give right to intelligent person to kill the non-intelligent one. Right? You know who is Vidura? Let me divert subject a little bit.
Brother of Dhritarashtra.
But who is originally? He is Yamaraj.
Yamaraj, yeah.
And how Yamaraj became Vidura? Because one sage, Manduka Rishi, he cursed him. Why he cursed him? Because the sage was punished for some, some sinful action which he had done as a child. As a child, he pierced one, one sharp, thrown through some ant. And he was given the same treatment when he was grown up, old, sage. And when he was punished like this, he went to Yamaraj and said, why are you punishing me? He said, because you did this crime when you were a child. He said, I was an innocent child. I did some harm to one ant, and you're punishing me for this. This is the law in Yamaraj books. Whether ant or human being, if you cause any harm to the living entity, one will be punished. And this sage cursed Yamaraj. Now, you don't understand justice. Go and take birth in Shudra family. That's why he came and became Dasi Putra Vidura. Vidura is none other than Yamaraj, Dharmraj. So this vision is very important to stay away, protect us from sinful actions. है ना? अभी ये सुनने के बाद अभी आप किसी कुत्ते को तंग नहीं करोगे, for sure. You will not hurt even an ant. Yes or no? Pandita, because you become Pandit now, Samadarshi now. All are souls and all have super souls. Please repeat. All are souls. And all have super souls. Remember this formula. Whenever you see any living entity, you will not be tempted to cause any harm. Correct? So externally we live like this with this vision, and internally we search for peace within. Okay. So this is the kind of vision we should develop. Then Arjuna is asking, "Theek hai, I understood the formula now for peace. But Krishna, I still have attachment to sense objects. What do I do? And I am still tempted. I have understood everything. I have understood I am soul. I have understood, every living entity is soul. I have understood every entity is super soul, but I still get tempted. What do I do?" And the Krishna talks about this in verse number 22. He tells, "Yehi samsparja hoga dukh yoniya evate adyantavant konteya nateshu ramate buddha." Now he's revealing the science of sense gratification. He's saying, "Yehi samsparja jab hoga." This sense gratification is nothing but contact of matter with matter. Soul has nothing with this. Like this, eyes is matter, and eye is looking at some form, a sense object is also matter. So what is sense gratification? Is simply contact of one matter with another matter. That's why the result is temporary, because both are dead matters. Try to understand the science of sense gratification. There is no joy. Why? Both are dead matters. So if you rub two dead matters, you will not get much joy. Correct? Only when both are alive, living, then joy will come. That's why when Atma contacts Paramatma, then joy comes. Why? Both are living. So interaction of living entities produce joy. Interaction of material dead matter will not produce joy. You may get only sense perception. Like if you hold a Rasgulla in your hand, it might look soft. You might get a joy of it being soft temporarily. Correct? Correct? No, this is sense enjoyment actually. Thoda sa momentarily, sukh or pleasure due to the contact, association of matter with matter. That's why dukh yonyo, but actually this little pleasure in the beginning finally turns into endless misery towards the end. This is the nature of material joy. Okay, nectar in the beginning and poison in the end. Adi antavant kontya, it has a definite beginning, it has a definite end. Nateshu ramate buddha. That's why intelligent people do not dwell on sense gratification. They know it is temporary, it has beginning, it has end, but it is hiding behind what? Endless misery. So let me not attempt for sense enjoyment. So sense enjoyment, Krishna talks about this later. Material sense enjoyment is nectar in the beginning, but poison in the end. And spiritual enjoyment is poison in the beginning, but nectar towards the end. So chanting might sound like poison in the beginning, but later it turns into nectar. Okay. So Krishna is trying to explain science of sense enjoyment, saying, resist this. Krishna is saying, Arjuna is saying, what do I do? Krishna is teaching him, you have to tolerate this. These urges, one has to learn to tolerate. While searching for peace within, external allurements, we have to try to tolerate. Stay away from sense objects. If you don't have TV at home, there's no temptation to watch TV. As simple as that. Isn't it? If you have a simple mobile, no temptation to surf. So keep life simple means reducing these temptations. Simple living, high thinking means this only. One can think high when living is simple. Living is simple means less number of allurements. Then you have time, energy, mind space to contemplate on spiritual subjects matters. If one is surrounded by sense objects all around, then he is stuck. Where's the time? So we should reduce these allurements in our life with a conscious effort to keep life simple so that we can serve the higher purpose of life. Tapo divyam putrakayen sattvam, we discussed in the beginning. Okay, so Krishna is saying resist external temptation and continue your journey with it. And then Krishna says, don't worry. When you experience peace within, then this temptation will stop bothering you. When you get higher joy, when you experience higher joy within, then external temptations will not put pressure on you. In the beginning, we have to tolerate, but when you start getting joy in spiritual life, right, by performing different spiritual activities, then these temptations will not bother you. You may see a big billboard of a new mobile, but you will not be tempted to buy. So such temptations will not. You may see a beautiful girl going beside you, you will not be tempted to turn your neck and see who is this young looking beautiful girl. Those temptations will be subdued by your enjoying within. You're experiencing real unlimited joy within. Correct? And then Krishna concludes this chapter through peace formula, which we discussed in the beginning. Bhoktaram yagatapasam sarvalok maheshwaram surdam sarvabhutanam gyatvam shantim rachati. One can attain peace if he considers Krishna as the supreme enjoyer. Why? He is the real doer. He is the proprietor. We discussed in the child's analogy. Right? And then Krishna being the Suhridam Sarvabhutanam, our best friend. A best friend will always share. Correct? He will never enjoy alone. He'll always share his joy with his friends. Similarly, Krishna shares his supreme joy with his friends, with his, part and parcels like all of us. Okay. So our joy is not, as I mentioned earlier, in enjoying independently. Our joy lies in being enjoyed by Krishna. Simply by performing devotional activities, one becomes satisfied. His heart is full of satisfaction. Simply by performing bhakti paresha nubhavo virat. Nice verse. I'll maybe talk about this and then conclude this chapter. Very nice verse. You can also recite after me. Okay. Can you all see this in state? Bhakti paresha anubhavo viraktir anyatra chesha sika eka kalah prapadyamanasya yatha shantashu tushti pushti khudapayo nughasham. This verse talks about that when you are hungry, correct? Let me remove this. When you're hungry, very hungry, and then you get food in front of you, and then you put one morsel after one morsel in your mouth, correct? Just try to, be yourself in that situation. You're feeling very hungry, food comes in front of you, and you take morsel and start putting in your mouth. When you do that, three things happen at the same time. ठीक है, तीन चीजें एक साथ होती हैं जब हम एक एक करके निवाला मुंह में डालते हैं. क्या होती हैं? सबसे पहला तुष्टि, you become satisfied, correct? Second, pushti, you feel nourished, correct? और तीसरा material hunger, और hunger goes down. जो भूख लगी थी वो खत्म हो जाती है धीरे धीरे, करेक्ट? तीन चीजें क्या क्या हुई रम्या माता जी?
Satisfied and then nourished, and our material hunger.
Our hunger goes down, correct?
Yes.
So tushti, pushti, and hunger goes down. Same three things happen when one performs devotional activities. Bhakti, paresha, anubhavo, viraktir. Pehla bhakti means simply by performing devotional activities, one attains tushti. One becomes satisfied. Simply by performing forget about the result. Simply by performing, one's heart is full of satisfaction. Tushti. Paresha anubhavo. And when one is sincere in his devotion service, Krishna makes his presence felt in front of his devotee. He makes him feel the presence of Krishna in his life. Paresha anubhavo. And that gives him pushti, nourishment. Correct? So, devotee is getting tushti and pushti. And the third thing also happens at the same time. What is that? Virakti. The material hunger goes down. ये चाहिए, वो चाहिए, ये चाहिए, वो चाहिए, goes down. ठीक है? तुष्टि, पुष्टि और भक्ति, परेशान हो, विरक्ति. So when one is feeling, experiencing the joy of spiritual life, his material hunger automatically, simultaneously goes down. Or attachment or attraction to external allurements goes down. ठीक है जी? So with this verse, we conclude chapter number 5. If you have any question, you can ask.
Prabhuji, one question I have on the 5th chapter. The last section talks about by concentrating on the Supreme, Nishkama Karma Yogi, by concentrating on the Supreme and dovetailing his attention from worship to the divinity, he will be attaining the Supreme. So, if you look at the same result also will be attained by Ashtanga Yoga and then Bhakti Yoga. So what is the difference between liberation, whatever is attained by performing Nishkama Karma Yoga, keeping concentration on Supreme, versus Bhakti Yoga? So here also we talk about devotional service. There also it is Bhakti Yoga. So what is the difference?
So here Prabhupada sometimes use the term Bhakti Yoga for Nishkam Karma Yoga also, but it is Mishrit Bhakti, not Shuddha Bhakti. So in Yoga ladder, you have, Sakam Karma Yoga, Nishkam Karma Yoga, Gyan Yoga, Ashtang Yoga, and then Bhakti Yoga. So these are not different ways to achieve Krishna. These are different stages of the same journey. ऐसा नहीं कि निष्काम कर्म अलग है, भक्ति अलग है, ज्ञान अलग है, नहीं. Like in a ladder, you have different steps and gradually go up. Similarly, in yoga ladder, these are different steps. Sakam niche, फिर निष्काम, फिर ज्ञान. When you perform Nishkam Karma Yoga, heart is purified and Jnana, knowledge manifests in one's heart. He reaches the level of Jnana Yoga. At Jnana Yoga, one is attracted to this result called as liberation. Why? He thinks everything is useless in this material world. Everything is temporary. Let me not spend my time wasting my, dealing with the matter. Right? So he attracts attraction, or he generates attraction to get liberated from this material world and merge into the Supreme. This is Jnana result or desire. After Jnana comes Ashtanga Yoga. Some of Jnanis go to the next level called Ashtanga Yoga. Right? Wherein one tries to meditate on the localized aspect of Krishna, which is called Paramatma. Okay? In the last stage, it is a Ashtanga Yoga, means 8 limbs. कौन से 8 limbs होते हैं पता है आपको?
Yeah.
बताइए.
Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi.
Very good. So in the Dharana or Dhyan stage, one is concentrating on the every limb of Paramatma. Correct? Some of those people, while meditating on Paramatma aspect, they develop desire to serve Krishna. And then they get elevated to Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga means service. Jnana Yoga doesn't have service. Nishkama doesn't have much service. Right? Ashtanga also doesn't have service. Only meditation. But service means direct association with the Supreme Lord is only in Bhakti Yoga. So this journey from Sakam to Bhakti may take millions of lifetimes. But listen carefully. This journey can be instant, can be shortened. This journey can be shortened. One can immediately go to Bhakti Yoga. How? Anything? What is the formula?
In association with devotees.
Wonderful. When a devotee enters your life, listen carefully. When a devotee enters your life and he desires that you become devotee, your journey is shortened. You straight away go to Bhakti Yoga. You straight away start chanting the holy name. You straight away start honoring prasadam of Krishna. You straight away start hearing the glories of Krishna. Everybody is not qualified to hear the glories of Krishna. Directly, all your senses are engaged in service. Bhakti Yoga. Straight away. No Jnana Yoga, no Ashtanga Yoga, straight away. Lift. Somebody provides an opportunity to enter lift, not by staircase. You have to go to 100th floor by lift or by staircase, you can understand the difference. Correct? That is the difference a devotee makes in your life. That's why association of devotees is glorified in all the Shastras. Bhagavatam, when Krishna appears in front of Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruv Maharaj, Prachetas, Prithu Maharaj, everybody asks for one benediction only. What? Please keep me in the association of devotees. That's it. Nothing else. So our spiritual life is protected, remain protected only when we are in the association of devotees. And this journey is shortened big time. That's why, we should be very grateful to devotees who are spending time, energy in cultivating Krishna consciousness in us. that grateful heart I mentioned last time also is the most fertile heart for devotional creeper to grow. So always remain grateful, thankful. Okay. Thank you. Yes, Prabhuji.
One question. So you explained about the soul, super soul, and the material nature, right? Where the soul desires and Krishna, super soul, sanctions, and the material nature finally delivers it. It gives whatever want. In this whole cycle, where exactly the demigods fit into? Because once we pray them, they may give the results very quickly, and maybe again as the will of Krishna. And they may give something which may not be useful to us, right? But then if it comes through Krishna, definitely, certainly, whatever he gives, it is useful for us. It is useful for me. But then where exactly the demigods fit into? They are all part of the material nature. But then if they are part of material nature, how can they give something that is against Krishna's will?
So when we say material nature facilitates, means who has given body to us? Material nature.
Yeah.
Right. So this body is one instrument to facilitate our desire. Similarly, demigods another instrument to facilitate our desire. Right? They are authorized agents of Krishna who have been given different portfolios to fulfill different desires. That is the Karma Kandi section of Vedas, wherein one approaches demigods for some material desires. Right? But that also has to be sanctioned by Krishna first. Then execution happens. Devtas cannot execute without the permission of the super soul. So their job is largely in execution of the fulfillment of desire. Okay, you can say, it's also facilitated by Prakriti, material nature.
But then won't there be any check whether this is really beneficial to the soul or not?
So demigods are like, shopkeepers.
Yeah,
You
so
pay
Krishna
and buy.
doesn't have any control there.
Sorry?
Krishna doesn't have any
Krishna
control.
has control, but he gives freedom also.
Freedom.
Like if father has a control on son, but he gives freedom also to son. And it's up to son to misuse that freedom or use that freedom productively. That's why in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, "By this is my opinion." Mera mat hai ye. Baki karna hai, that is your desire. That is your decision, Arjuna. I cannot force decision. I can tell you. Father can guide children. Children cannot be forced these days. He will guide them. So it's up to them to use or misuse the freedom given to them. So if you misuse, then you'll ask for something which may be harmful, right, from the shopkeeper. But he will give you because you paid the price. You paid the price of cigarette, he delivered. Right? They're simply shopkeepers. But if you go to them with a prayer that please help me become devotee of Krishna, then they help. Like if you go to Lord Shiva and say, I want to become devotee of Krishna, he will help. He's a Param Vaishnava, he'll help. So whenever, let's say you're walking on the road and Ganeshji temple comes, so you should pay obeisances to Ganeshji and say, Ganeshji, you wrote Bhagavad Gita, I am also studying Bhagavad Gita these days. Please help me understand Bhagavad Gita. That is the kind of prayer we can make in front of Lord Ganesh. We are reading Bhagavad Gita written by Ganeshji only. Right? So if you go to Lord Shiva, you can make this prayer. Like you're always engrossed in remembering Krishna, please give me the same mood I can remember Krishna all the time.
Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else? आप सबने एकादशी रखा है आज? Who all keep एकादशी? Please raise hands. Not everyone, is it? Okay, सबको रखना चाहिए. There are both spiritual and scientific reasons why one should keep Ekadashi. And because time is limited, there's one very nice lecture by His Grace Amarendra Prabhu. I'll send it to Sri Gaura Prabhu. He'll share with you. Hear that lecture. Wonderful. He has explained why should one keep Ekadashi, both scientifically and spiritually. Both are very powerful.
I didn't understand the question. The last word I didn't get it.
Ekadashi, I said.
Ekadashi. Okay.
No,
I got it.
Ekadashi. Okay, so maybe next time I'll send it today itself so you can hear it. And maybe from next Ekadashi you can try keeping this fast. Okay, ones who are not keeping. Okay, so thank you very much for your association time and being so patient for the last 1.5 hours and being so interactive. I really enjoy, your association. So thank you, Sri Gaura Prabhu, for giving this opportunity to serve all of you.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. I understand you're so busy, but
no, I'm not busy. I'm sorry. I'm always there to serve.
We are really grateful to you. We are really grateful. Each one of us, I cannot tell you how much they value you. They value your words, they value your association, and they were like, after me that please call Prabhuji. Yeah. So thank you very much, Prabhuji, for being with us.
Thank you. So my only request is please contemplate on what you hear and practically see what all you can apply. Because all these are practical lessons Krishna is providing. If you don't do it now, you'll miss the bus because then you go to the next stop. Whatever you could have achieved from the previous stop, you miss all of that. So every class you should contemplate and see what can be implemented in our life. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.